Look at your hand again. It feels completely solid, right? Like you can knock on wood and hear the thud. But think about what it actually is. Your hand is made of atoms. And here is the bizarre truth about atoms. They are almost entirely empty space. 99.9999999% empty. If a single hydrogen atom were the size of the entire Earth, the actual solid stuff in the center would be roughly the size of a football field. You're mostly a ghost. You're made of nothing. But here is the real kicker. Those few tiny atoms that do make up your body, they do not even stick around. Every time you breathe out, you exhale millions of carbon atoms. Every time you eat a meal or drink a glass of water, you are bringing new atoms in to replace the old ones. People always wonder why the food they eat matters so much. And it is because that food literally snaps together to build your physical brain and body. The you from 10 years ago is gone. Almost none of the atoms you had as a little kid are inside you right now. They have drifted off into the air, into the soil, and into other people. So, if the physical stuff keeps changing, and you are mostly empty space anyway, what exactly are you? You are not the stuff. You are the pattern. Imagine a waterfall. The water is constantly rushing, falling, and changing every single fraction of a second. The water is never the same, but the shape of the waterfall remains. You are the waterfall. You are just a standing wave of information, a specific arrangement of jiggling atoms passing through. Which leads us to a terrifying thought experiment. Imagine you step into a teleporter. The machine scans the exact jiggling pattern of your atoms, records every single connection in your brain, and then it completely vaporizes your physical body. Poof! A second later, on Mars, another machine gathers totally different atoms from the Martian air, snaps them together in your exact pattern, and builds a perfect copy. That copy on Mars will step out, look around, and have all your memories. It will love the same people. It will feel exactly like you. But is it you? Or did the real you just die in a metal box on Earth while a perfect imposter walks around on Mars thinking it survived? Snap your fingers. Do it right now. You see the motion, you feel your skin hit, and you hear the click. It all feels perfectly synced up. It feels like it is happening exactly right now. But here is the problem. It isn't. Light has to bounce off your hand and travel to your eye. The sound has to push through the air and jiggle your eardrum. And the feeling of your fingers hitting each other? Those little electrical signals have to physically race all the way up your arm, climb through your neck, and go into your head. All of that takes time. Not years, no. Just tiny fractions of a second. But it is time. Your brain is sitting locked inside a dark, silent ball of bone. It does not know what is happening out there in the universe right now. It only receives the mail. It gets a visual signal here, an audio signal a few milliseconds later, and a touch signal after that. But your brain is very clever. It doesn't want you to feel confused, so it waits. It gathers all these delayed pieces of information, stitches them all together, and presents them to you as one smooth, continuous moment. It is a prediction machine, constantly patching up reality. When you blink, you don't see darkness, do you? That is because your brain just fills in the gap with what it thinks should be there. You have never experienced the actual present. You're literally walking around in a delayed broadcast. Your entire life, everything you have ever seen or felt, is just a movie of the recent past playing inside your head. But that brings up a really strange problem. If your reality is just a stitched together movie of the past, projected inside your brain, who or what is actually sitting in the dark watching it? Think about what is actually happening up there in that dark box. You have billions of brain cells, neurons, firing off constantly. When you look at an apple, one part of your brain processes the round shape. A completely different part processes the color red. Yet another part processes the sweet smell. These are separate electrical signals bouncing around in entirely different zip codes of your brain, but you do not experience a broken, fragmented world. Somehow, all those scattered pieces snap together. They merge perfectly into one single, seamless reality. How does the brain take all those separate jiggling signals and bind them into one unified picture? We still do not really know, but there is an even bigger wall we hit. It is what scientists call the hard problem. You see, science is incredibly good at tracking the mechanics, and we can watch a signal climb up your arm, jump across a microscopic gap, and make a brain cell wiggle and fire off electricity. It is just physics and chemistry. But physics completely breaks down when it tries to explain your actual experience. Someone recently pointed out a beautifully simple test for this. Imagine a stranger on a crowded bus accidentally touches your arm. A specific set of neurons fires. Now, imagine someone you are deeply, madly in love with touches your arm in the exact same spot, with the exact same pressure. The physical biology is identical. The atoms are bouncing and reacting the exact same way. The electricity is the same. But to you, the feeling is a universe apart. One is just a meaningless physical bump, and the other makes your entire chest feel like it is glowing. How does objective and physical matter, just atoms and electricity, suddenly produce a subjective internal feeling? How does a physical zap become a conscious thought? It is a giant, gaping hole in our understanding of the universe. No matter how closely we look at the wet, gray matter of your brain, we cannot find the feeling of love, or the experience of the color red, or the sensation of a memory. We can measure the electricity all day long, but we cannot measure the feeling. Because to find the real you, we have to look past the physical stuff entirely. In fact, if we look close enough, you might not actually be made of matter at all. Look at your own hands for a second, or just feel the steady beat of your heart inside your chest. Feel how real it is. You probably think you are sitting right there, experiencing this exact second as it happens. You think you are living in this very moment, right? Wrong. You have never actually experienced the present, not even once. What I am about to tell you about who and what you really are might sound terrifying at first. But I promise you, it is so incredibly beautiful. It will completely change how you see your own reality forever. But let us bring it back to the brain sitting inside your skull. Because the illusion of who you are gets even stranger. You feel like a single unified person. One mind driving the machine. But if you open up that dark box, you will see the brain is completely split right down the middle. Two distinct halves. A left side and a right side. They are only connected by a thick bundle of nerve fibers, like a massive cable of jiggling electrical wires. Now, here is where it gets crazy. Sometimes, to stop severe brain seizures, doctors have to physically cut that cable. They snip the bridge. When the patient wakes up, they seem totally fine. But then, things start to happen. The left side of the brain controls the right hand. The right side controls the left hand. Patients would reach into their closet with their right hand to put on a shirt, and their left hand would suddenly fight them, grab the shirt and throw it on the floor. One hand tries to button a jacket, and the other hand actively unbuttons it. They are literally fighting themselves. By cutting that one physical wire, doctors did not just stop a medical catastrophe. They created two separate, conscious minds sitting inside the exact same body. Two different identities making different choices. Which raises a terrifying question. If cutting a wire splits you into two different people, were you always two people? Are you not a single mind at all, but just two separate consciousnesses, sitting in the dark, whispering back and forth across a bridge so perfectly that you fool yourself into thinking you are one? But to really understand what is sitting inside that dark box, we have to zoom out, way out. Think about those atoms you are made of. The carbon in your muscles, the calcium in your bones, and the iron in your blood that carries the oxygen you breathe. Where did all that stuff actually come from? It didn't just magically appear out of nowhere. Every single one of those heavy atoms was cooked inside the crushing, unimaginably hot core of a star billions of years ago. When those ancient stars got too old, they collapsed and exploded in a massive catastrophe, throwing their guts across the empty void of space. Those pieces drifted, collided, and eventually snapped together to form the Earth. And eventually, those exact same atoms snapped together to form you. So when you step outside on a clear night and look up at the stars, yet you are not just a tiny, insignificant person standing on a rock, looking out into a cold, separate universe. You are the universe. You are literally a tiny, localized cluster of star stuff that has somehow figured out how to jiggle together, grow eyes, and look back at itself. For billions of years, the cosmos was just silent matter, exploding and floating in the dark. But through you, the universe wakes up. Through your brain, the universe is able to feel the warmth of the sun, listen to a song, and ask questions about its own existence. So, if you are just a temporary pattern of star stuff, mostly empty space, what is the point of it all? People look everywhere for the meaning of life. But the answer is actually hidden right in front of us, in the pure physics of energy. Think about that piece of wood again. The tree didn't just grow for no reason. It reached up, captured the wild, chaotic energy of the sun, and locked it into a very specific, orderly pattern. It trapped the light. You are doing the exact same thing. When you eat a piece of bread or an apple, you're literally consuming trapped sunlight. That energy goes into your stomach and breaks apart. It makes your cells jiggle. It pushes your blood. It fires the tiny bolts of electricity inside your brain. But here is where you are completely different from a piece of wood. Yet you don't just sit there holding the energy in the dark. You take that ancient star energy and you use it to do things the universe could never do on its own. You use that sunlight to build a house, to paint a picture, to hold someone's hand when they are scared. The rest of the universe is entirely blind and cold. It tends toward complete disorder. Planets crash, stars die, and things fall apart. But for a few short years, you get to be the exception. You are a biological machine that takes the raw, chaotic heat of a burning star and turns it into order, into thought, into compassion. You do not need to search for meaning in a cold universe. You are the exact mechanism that the universe uses to create meaning out of nothing. So the next time you look in the mirror or hold someone else's hand, remember what is actually happening. You're not just a person sitting in the dark, watching a delayed broadcast of reality. You are a temporary, beautiful arrangement of ancient star stuff. You are a localized piece of the universe that finally woke up, just for a little while, to look around and feel the warmth of its own light. But that leaves us with one final, very strange mystery. If you are not the solid matter, if you are just the pattern, just a standing wave of energy passing through a physical body, what exactly happens when that wave finally breaks? Where does the pattern go when the jiggling stops? That is a completely different story. I will leave you with something to imagine